You're here for a guide on how to kill this thing for the first time, so we're not going to do anything fancy, we're just going to go over some basic gear you'll need as well as the core mechanics of the fight and working towards your first kill. This big old bug has a requirement of 92 Slayer and drops the Noxious Halberd, albeit in 3 pieces at a rate of 1 in 200, as well as the Araxxor Fang, which is the upgrade for the Torture. Gear-wise, this is what I'm working with. Granted, I'm a UIM, so I'm a little bit more restricted, and to be fair, the Holy Molies are in fact not optional. I bring the Zamorakian Hasta and have it set to pound, so I can go I also bring Burning Claws. Alternatively, you could bring a defense reduction special, anything from a Bone Dagger to an Elder Maul depending on your budget and gear availability. The final thing you'll need is a heavy ranged weapon. I bring the Hunter's Sunlight Crossbow and Moonlight Bolts, as they're easy to obtain. This weapon is used to kill the egg spawns during the fight. Note that to kill the spawns in a reasonable time, you will need to have a max hit of at least 29. In my case, just using the crossbow bolts and an anguish is enough to accomplish this. You will max hit when using a crush weapon too, but in running away from the boss you open yourself up to being hit with a magic attack, and we're going to try and avoid that for now while we work on the basics. The rest of your gear should be whatever best melee gear you have. If you're using the boppers, use Full Blood Moon, or if you're using something higher end like a scythe, use something like Inquisitors. Your inventory, well, it's going to look a little different from mine, but the main things you'll need are combat boosting potions, in my case a super combat, some prayer restores like prayer potions or super restores, some hard food such as sharks, marlin, bluefin or karambwans, and most importantly something to cure venom. I bring a 4-dose extended anti-venom plus most of the time. Getting to the boss, you do have a couple of options. The fastest way is using the Spider Cave teleport scrolls, which you receive from the boss itself. The second fastest way is a little funky and does require the use of an agility shortcut, for which you need 2 long ropes. These are buyable from the Darkmire General Store here, and you do need to wear the Via Noble outfit when purchasing them. Take 2 of these long ropes to the eastern wall here, and place the first one here. The second one you want to put here. Then when you hop over the wall, you can run north to the cave. This does require the use of hallowed teleport crystals to use, but if you've done Sepulchre at all, you'll probably have a bunch of marks laying around gathering dust, so you might as well make use of them. And if you don't have access to either of these options, using the Draken's Medallion and teleporting to the Theatre of Blood, and then running north will be what you'll have to do. It does take a little bit longer, but with time you'll get more teleport scrolls, and you might end up realizing that maybe Sepulchre's not that bad. Now, the best way to explain this will be to compare it to another boss, and I'm going to use Zulrah for this, because similar to Zulrah, Araxxor also has rotations, but these are a lot easier to identify and there's only 3 of them. When you enter the room, you'll see that there are eggs along the outer walls. There are green, white, and red ones. Depending on what egg spawns in this location here, will determine the rotation as well as the special attacks that Araxxor will be using during the fight. Now, let's go over what each of these eggs mean. The green egg will spawn an acid Araxxite. This guy is going to range you and will explode on death, firing venom blobs around you, leaving marks on the floor. The white egg will spawn a mirrorback Araxxite. This guy is going to absorb and reflect a percentage of damage you would have dealt to the boss back to itself and to you. And the red egg will spawn a rupture Araxxite. This guy is the useful one, and upon reaching melee range of the player will explode, and if under Araxxor will deal 80 damage to the boss. Just ensure that you see it do its little animation change, that you're running at least 3 tiles away from it, as if you're stood right next to it, it will explode and will deal up to 80 damage to you depending on how close you are. Just be at least 3 tiles away, you'll be fine. The rotations and specials Araxxor will do depends fully on the first egg though, and I'll go over how to deal with each of these in a way that keeps the room nice and clean too, so you're not worrying about venom tiles being everywhere. Now, starting the fight, I always run to this tile here. This is the only one I'll ever have marked for the fight, as it's the tile next to where he spawns, and it sets me up to move to deal with any of the eggs during the fight a little bit easier. The first rotation we'll go over is the first egg being red. This is the Rupture Araxxite. For this, first run down to this tile here, so that when it walks over to you, it'll explode underneath the boss. After the Araxxite explodes, you'll be hit with your first special. Araxxor will shoot a blob of venom at the player, which will leave a venom pool on the tiles you're standing on. This will last for about 6 tiles if you walk. Hold control and click to the opposite side of the boss as soon as you see the pool appear underneath your feet. Once it's over, step back 1 tile between attacks to drag Araxxor over the venom so it's not in your way anymore. The next spawn is the green guy, who's going to range you. Run here and switch to your range gear, pray offensively and click the spawn. 2 XP drops will be enough to kill it, and then you switch back to your melee gear and continue hitting the boss. Another special will happen and repeat what we did the first time. Walk across the side of the boss by holding down control and clicking. Step back again, make your way back across and continue killing the boss. The next spawn will be the mirror back. Repeat the same steps as done with the range spawn, equip your range gear, wait for your 2 XP drops, switch back to your melee gear and continue the fight. Get ready for another special, hold control again and click to walk across the side of the boss. Step this way so you set the red spider in position when it spawns, so it's going to be ready to explode underneath the boss. At this point in the fight you'll most likely be going to end up in the enrage phase. For this we're going to keep things pretty simple, and that's going to be hit the boss once, step across 2 tiles, and hit the boss again. Step across 2 tiles, and hit the boss again. Repeat this as you move around the boss until it's dead. Be aware though, the remaining eggs will be spawning during this phase. In this rotation, you'll notice that it was a red spider that spawned, and I was stepping back to keep it in line so that when it exploded, I could run across the boss. You might not need to do this if it didn't already trigger the enrage phase. Keep hitting the boss and moving until it's dead, then click your loot and you're done. Rotation 2 starts with the green spawn. All mechanics and setup are the same, this time we'll be standing here at the start of the kill though. Damage the boss until the first egg hatches, and then swap to range and kill the spawn. Switch back to your melee gear and be ready for the special. This one will fire a venom projectile in the direction the boss is facing. We want it to fire on the corner to keep the mess to a minimum though. When you see the boss look away from you like this, immediately click here to avoid being hit for up to 18 venom damage. Once the orb is past you, you can then step back and continue the fight. Continue hitting the boss until the next egg hatches. The next spawn is the mirror back, swap to range and kill it. Again, wait for the 2 XP drops for it to be dead, switch back to your melee gear and continue attacking the boss. Once it's dead, Araxxor will fire another projectile. Wait for it to look away from you, step here again to avoid it, and now you can make your way back to the other side of the boss, because at this point, we want to be in position for the red egg to spawn. Continue hitting the boss, but after every attack, just move around so you gradually make your way around to the other side, so when the red egg spawns, you're in position already. Stand here and wait for the spider to be close enough that you can see it do its little animation that signifies it's about to explode. Run across to the other side of the boss and be prepared for it to fire another projectile immediately depending on the timing. It may fire it while you're running, so just keep an eye out for that too. After the third spawn, you'll most likely be in the enrage phase again. For this one, you can, if you feel comfortable enough, disable your melee prayer and pray range instead so that you can ignore the green egg once it hatches and focus on killing the boss instead. If the mirrorback spawns, switch to your range gear and kill this one while moving 2 tiles between each of your attacks still. Switch back to your melee gear, finish the boss, and then get your loot. The third and final rotation starts with the white egg, which spawns the mirrorback first. This one has a couple funky bits we can do to make the fight a little bit more easier too. Each time Araxxor attacks you, step back 2 tiles. Once the first egg hatches, switch to your range gear and kill the mirrorback. Continue stepping back 2 tiles between each Araxxor attack until you're in this position here. The special attack during this phase is that Araxxor will fire an arc of venom pool around the player, and standing here will minimize the area that can be covered. As soon as the venom lands though, wait for Araxxor to hit you, and then move to this tile here. You'll drag Araxxor into position, and when the red egg hatches, you can use the Araxxite to destroy this egg here. Wait for the Araxxite to get close and do his little animation, run across and wait for the explosion, and then you can run back to this side again. Continue hitting the boss until the next special. Step across and wait to see how the venom lands. Step back and wait for the mirrorback to spawn. Swap to range, kill the mirrorback, and then swap back to melee. At this point you'll be in the enrage phase again, and the next egg will be the red one, so be ready to make your way around to the other side of the boss to be in position so it's underneath. Make your way around to the other side of the boss. Between each hit, you can move 2 tiles, move another 2 tiles, and continue hitting. If you find yourself in the enraged phase before you get to the other side, you can stand on this tile here and continue stepping back, like the previous rotation. In doing this, you leave the one side of Araxxor completely free of venom, so when the red Araxxite gets close enough, you can step forward onto this tile, and then run across to the opposite side and use it to finish the kill. Unlike my trips being dependable on supply drops and being limited on space, you'll be able to most likely do 8 to 10 plus kill trips here pretty easily once you have the mechanics down, and we'll start being able to do things like step under during the enrage phase, or bringing vengeance to deal with the spawns instead of using ranged. But for now, good luck getting to grips with the basics, and hopefully you start feeling comfy here soon. And hopefully you don't end up like me going over 700 KC now without finishing my Nally. That's it for everything though, and what I will do is leave all 3 rotations unedited for each of the 3 rotations for kills at the end of the video, so they will be timestamped. If you go down and check in the description, you can check each individual one, so if you do struggle with a specific rotation, you can just go to that and see how that goes. But yeah, if you found this helpful at all, or even if it just helped you a little bit, a like would be appreciated, and subscribing would too, if you'd like more guides like this in the future. But yeah, best of luck!